If aliens are here, they must be peaceful. The mirror of 500,000 years. Why they don't shoot the Benign EThics Hypothesis. BETH, a model for interstellar sociology. The BETH acronym. This model is a linguistic triad. It bridges ET, extraterrestrial, and T, terrestrial, through the lens of ethos, the Greek word for ethics or character. Furthermore, it references the Hebrew word BETH, meaning house, symbolizing the universe as a safe, structured home for all cooperative civilizations. 1. Introduction, a cosmic perspective. The question, are we alone, is often followed by the anxious query, if they are there, are they dangerous? The Benign EThics Hypothesis, BETH, posits that intelligent extraterrestrial life is likely benevolent and socially highly developed. The core of this model is simple yet compelling. Technological power can only survive in the long term if the social and moral evolution of a species keeps pace. A civilization that reaches the stars has likely largely overcome the evolutionary childhood diseases of violence and destruction. They are not the invaders from Hollywood movies, but potentially the completed version of our own potential. Wise, funny, and driven by universal forms of cooperation and empathy. BETH presents this not as a certainty, but as a logical model based on evolution, sociology, and system stability. 2. The observation. When the stars speak. My conviction is not merely theoretical. It is rooted in lifelong contact that began when I was 7 in Cap d'Agde, France. There, I first met an entity calling himself Tom. His question was as simple as it was grand. Whether I wanted to do something beautiful for the world. There was no coercion, no complicated plan, only a warm and remarkably funny contact. Tom has monitored and protected me from a distance ever since. This only became clear in 2010, when the contact intensified, physical, visual, and telepathic. I have felt his cold-blooded heart in my hand, smelled his body odor, and seen how they reproduce via eggs. These personal experiences are an important source of inspiration for me in developing the BETH hypothesis. But the model itself primarily attempts to rest on broader biological and sociological principles that can be investigated even without my experiences. In all those years, and in contact with different species, I have never been treated unkindly, let alone with aggression or impatience. Their message is clear. They are here to support humanity in its transition to becoming cosmic citizens. They only intervene with unconditional help and love when we are unanimously ready as a species. 3. The foundation. Universal biological laws. The BETH hypothesis rests on the assumption that life, anywhere, begins with 2 fundamental biological motors, the hunger drive, self-preservation, and the reproductive drive, species preservation. As a species evolves over hundreds of thousands of years through natural selection, these raw drives transform. Love in this model is not a coincidence, but the brilliant biological byproduct of these survival mechanisms. The hunger drive evolves into philautia, healthy self-love and self-care. The reproductive drive evolves into eros, and ultimately into agape, universal care. The more complex an organism or society becomes, the greater the need for empathic coordination. Without this social glue, a technologically advanced civilization simply falls apart. Cooperation is therefore not a luxury, but a biological necessity for survival on a cosmic scale. In that light, any long-surviving civilization must eventually evolve towards stable cooperation. 4. The Great Filter and moral synchronization. The Great Filter theory suggests that many civilizations destroy themselves before achieving interstellar expansion. BETH introduces the moral synchronization condition. This means that the growth of technological power, such as nuclear energy or biotechnology, must run exactly in sync with the growth of empathy and moral wisdom. When power grows faster than morality, self-destruction inevitably follows. Because interstellar civilizations are survivors by definition, they have passed this filter. They are the beings who learn to beat their swords into plowshares before heading into space. Their assumed presence here is proof that peace is the only sustainable strategy. What if peace is not idealism, but an evolutionary necessity? 5. The 7 colors of cosmic ethics. The development of a civilization can be seen as a ladder of 7 forms of love, as the ancient Greeks already named them. Storge, basic care for offspring. Philaudia, healthy self-respect. Eros, the passion for creation and procreation. Ludus, play and humor. Humor is essential. It is the highest form of cognitive flexibility that discharges tension without violence. Philia, friendship and social connection. Pragma, rational, long-term, sustainable love. Agape, unconditional love for all that lives. An interstellar civilization like Tom's operates primarily from pragma and agape. They see us as we see our own children, with patience and the hope that we reach the next rung of the ladder. What we see in the stars often says more about ourselves. 6. The Spiegel parameter, our own growing pains. Our fear of evil aliens is often nothing more than psychological projection. We project our own untamed aggression, our childhood diseases, and our technological fears onto the stars. We see monsters because we are afraid of the monster within ourselves. The BETH hypothesis calls this mechanism the Spiegel parameter, the degree to which our expectations of extraterrestrial life are actually a reflection of our own current social state. This explains the so-called Fermi paradox, why they do not openly land on the lawn of the White House or Red Square. They maintain a pedagogical distance. Just as a parent does not hit a toddler in a tantrum, but waits for the child to finish, they wait for us to complete our own social evolution. Interference would hinder our growth. We must learn to walk in the cosmos ourselves. 7. The intelligence of harmony. We often imagine an ET as a being with a giant IQ making only complex calculations. But there are different IQ ceilings. The biological ceiling. Larger brains do not automatically mean more intelligence. Look at the elephant, smart and empathic, but bound by the same biological laws. ETs may not be much smarter in calculating power, but much further along in their moral intelligence. Moral maturity. This is the true further development. When all physical survival problems on a planet are solved, intelligence shifts toward optimizing harmony and social systems. The technological IQ. Through biotech, they might activate unused parts of the brain, but this too has physical limits. We must realize that calculating, as some autistic savants can, is only a small part of cognition. The true superintelligence of an extraterrestrial civilization lies in their capacity for empathic and social harmony. The future of intelligence is not power, but harmony. 8. Conclusion. At home in the cosmos. The word BETH means house in Hebrew. The BETH hypothesis reminds us that the universe is not a cold, hostile void, but a potential home. The laws of biology eventually force every civilization toward cooperation and love, or toward oblivion. The beings visiting us do not come to conquer. They come to witness a birth, our birth as cosmic citizens. They are the mirror of our future. If we survive, 500,000 years from now, we will be exactly like them. Helpful, funny, intelligent, and above all, peaceful. Welcome home. Did you find this a fascinating perspective? Please share it with others. Do you have questions about my personal experiences or the logic behind the BETH hypothesis? Feel free to ask them in the comments. Hans J. C. Bakker, March 2026, the Netherlands.